So in conjunction with my look at Sony's new console codenamed the Neo, I wanted to take a look at the top 10 games that I think will be making an appearance at the reveal later next week. Please check out the other video to learn my thoughts on what I think you can expect from the Neo, and what better way than a list in no particular order, starting at 10. Resident Evil 7 is a remake or a reboot or something new anyway, and it certainly looks a hell of a lot better than previous titles. Currently running at 60 FPS on the native PS4 and supporting a PSVR mode, it certainly has the visuals to scare the shit out of you. And the VR mode is only going to increase the brown trouser moments. Now, what could they muster here on the Neo? Well, I'm sure they're going to increase the resolution so it'll look a hell of a lot cleaner and crisper on an upscaled 4K output, with additional effects of its photogrammetry techniques and well-realised PBR materials. And believe it or not, the visual quality than what you see here from the trailer will increase also. This could be one hell of a scarefest to launch the Neo machine.
On the bay and discover new areas.
Watch Dogs was a classic hit from Ubisoft on launch, kind of, and even though it had some controversy and was the game that was launching the generation, Watch Dogs 2 has gone in a totally different direction. Basically the same one as last time. Whatever GTA does, Ubisoft will follow. Now, even though I'm not a massive fan of the bright colour tone, I do think the visuals are beautiful, and certainly the engine enhancements here are worth a look. But on PS4, what can we expect? Well, we know it's going to be a 1080 title, or possibly 900p at 30 FPS like the previous titles. But on Neo, I would imagine this is going to be at least 1440, and yes, possibly 60 FPS. Meaning that it places it more in line with a top-end PC release. And probably a game that will run a lot better on PCs as well, because I'm pretty sure Ubisoft have learned their lesson. Anyway, this could be a big open-world title for Neo, and everyone likes to spend time doing pretty much bugger all in a massive open world.
I am hungry.
You're not the only one, Kratos. I'm starving for more God of War action, and the rebirth that's come from the team here at Sony Santa Monica is a breath of fresh air. Yes, it's certainly been influenced by Naughty Dog, but then again, what big team isn't in some way or another? But this is a new take and a fresh look at the God of War franchise. Here on the PS4 with a native 1080 and an unlocked frame rate, we can expect a similar high-performing game. They always set the bar high, and yet again with God of War, which was my game of E3 this year, it was simply mesmerising with its beauty and delivery. This short demonstration was littered with the technical aspects of the engine: adaptive tessellation, volumetric lighting, subsurface scattering, a quality implementation of motion blur as well, along with some of the widest and most vivid colour tones in any game thus far. The PBR materials are impeccable, as is the animation, art and topology, leaving it a cut above most that was shown at E3. Now the PS4 Neo is going to push this on even further. Certainly this will be a 60 FPS title on the Neo, irrespective of any hopes and fears. The game is already running unlocked on the PS4, and this will be at least 1440, possibly even higher, with additional effects than what we have already seen. Throw in a 4K upscale and HDR, that simply leaves my mouth watering and possibly agape when it gets revealed next week. And it looks like I won't be the only one. Now, Final Fantasy XV hasn't had the best run of things, with the game sporting a dynamic resolution. The most recent footage from PS4 still shows a 900p base game, with again the temporal AA and reconstruction happening on the frame, from the release footage from Japan earlier this month. But overall the game does look as impressive as ever, if it seems to be buckling a little bit on both now-gen consoles. Now this could be completely eradicated with the new PS4 Neo, which will almost certainly sport a 1080 or higher resolution, and possibly even a higher frame rate. The game could deliver much better performance whilst resolving some of the issues we've had thus far, with the anti-aliasing on the hair in the game, and obviously the shadow quality and some of the other issues with the IQ being quite rough around the edges until that reconstruction kicks in and improves the image, as I covered in my analysis. So the new delay into November has benefits, which means it absolutely now has to ship with a Neo mode. Yeah, like it wasn't going to anyway. and that means better quality and performance across the board. And also, if that PC version is true, you'll get the first glimpse of just what it'll look like.
No way we're taking that thing on!
Polyphony Digital are like a fine wine. You can't rush them, you can't make it better, you cannot speed the clock up and get them to deliver the performance and the quality. You just have to sit around and wait until it's time to drink and enjoy. Now, GT Sport is a game I've already covered from the preview, and it certainly looks to be leaving us petrolheads with the definitive version of GT thus far. Now, on top of this, the PS4 version will have a full VR mode and run at 60 frames per second and 30 randomly in the replays. Now, the Neo mode will certainly enhance this and push that resolution higher up the food chain along with the visual quality. If they do opt for a reconstructed technique or an upscale back to 4K, then the single player and first person view of the game will end up looking just like the 30 FPS replays in this PS4 Neo release we've already looked at thus far. Now, if that doesn't get your motor running, then you're already dead. Now, what new adventure or machine would be complete without our friend Nate making an appearance? As we've already seen from the PS4 release at a native 1080 and 30 frames per second, Naughty Dog certainly got to grips with the PS4 hardware, and how. And they did not disappoint in any way, shape or form, as I covered in my technical analysis. You don't need me to go over that again. But here on the Neo, what can we expect? Well, we already know that the actual rendering state of the engine can handle 60 FPS from the multiplayer, dropped to 900p. So adding all the additional effects with a lot of the work running on the GPU and now that additional power on both CPU and GPU, I'm pretty confident we're looking at an upscale to 4K at 60 FPS in single player. This, on top of more additional features with better AA, motion blur and also shadows, will deliver possibly the greatest looking version of Uncharted we've yet seen. All wrapped up in our first look at the DLC content, most likely starring Sam. With this visual quality running at 60 FPS, it means the initial reveal was bang on target. They just showed the wrong machine. This year we get not one, but two Call of Duty titles, creating the potential of 4 possible versions on PlayStation hardware. And it's always about the numbers. So improved resolution is on the cards, even if frame rate is only going to be more solid and not boost above 60 FPS. Unlike the resolution, which of course will, 1440 and possibly higher. This may be like other titles, be sitting within a menu option choosing visual fidelity or resolution, and that would be good. Even though Call of Duty is starting to lose favour, it's still a popular title. Battlefield may be snatching that from them, but don't expect that game to make an appearance here. Remember, it is linked with Microsoft and obviously promotion. That doesn't stop it having a Neo mode when it launches, mind. But here, Infinity Ward get their first stab at Neo dominance, and it'll be interesting to see just what this title will deliver on this new hardware.
Roger that, sir.
Stop! When the PS4 was very first revealed, it was Guerrilla Games' Killzone that we saw to demonstrate the hardware, so it makes perfect sense that Horizon Zero Dawn from the very same team will be wheeled out to boost the Neo chances and show just what it can muster. Obviously it runs at 1080 on the PS4 at 30 frames per second, so again, the resolution is upwards from there. I also believe it'll be one of the titles that will target 60 FPS again, or at least an unlocked frame rate with the additional boost to visual quality and resolution. So don't hold your breath to expect a full 4K in this game, but anything beyond that, or below, is certainly up for debate. And with a game that already looks this mesmerisingly beautiful, with extra features and a smoother refresh rate, just helps make it even more appetizing. Better late than never, I always say. Now, Lara has been out on pretty much every other machine bar a Sony one in its new and latest Rise of the Tomb Raider from Crystal Dynamics. Now, the year delay has allowed the team to add in additional content into the title, along with all currently released DLC, and this includes a PSVR mode. Now, on top of this, what else can we expect from the PS4 Neo? Well, 1080-30 is assured on the PS4. So yep, just like the Definitive Edition, I think we're pretty much guaranteed that this title will be another one, shipping at 1080-60 bare minimum, most likely, probably pushing a little bit above that, and therefore an upscaled resolution back to a native 4K on screen. 60 FPS, or at least unlocked on the Definitive Edition, and I believe here in Rise of the Tomb Raider will be yet another title that will deliver a faster and smoother frame rate on the newer machine. The big question is, will it be enough to entice new buyers of the machine and the game? Outside of this, it won't be that much of a different game. Now it brings us to the almighty number 1, which is a bit of a cop-out, you may say, but in the end, I think this is left open for the secret or some surprises that Sony will definitely bring. Will it be a rebirth of Deep Down, the original game we saw at the reveal of the PS4, or will it be something else, Last Guardian updated, or most likely a brand new title we have not even seen yet? No matter what you see, it will be a new title for the PS4 as well, not just the Neo, remember. But whatever it is, I'm sure it will be a graphical tour de force, possibly targeting 30 FPS, to really show what the visual quality can do when you target that frame rate on this much GPU horsepower. Whatever they show and whatever gets delivered, it will be interesting and possibly a relief to finally find out just what the hardware is, and all this speculation that everyone keeps getting involved in can stop, and we can just concentrate on what will be delivered, and when, and at what cost. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please check out my other video on the Neo, and like if you did, and subscribe, as it really helps me immensely. Whilst helping support my work and the channel, I am completely independent and self-funded, so every subscription and every like and every share is really very beneficial to me and my continued existence. Game fast, wait hard, and I'll see you on the other side of Neo.